This lesson is about adding and subtracting polynomials. So first we'll start with addition, and our directions here say to add polynomials, all you have to do is drop the parentheses, and the CLT here stands for combine like terms. And before we get started here, we should probably define what exactly like terms are. And basically, like terms are monomials that are the same or differ only by their coefficient. So that means if we had something like 2x and 2x, they are the same monomial, so they would be like terms. But if we had 2x and maybe negative 2x or 2x and 3x, they're still like terms because they're both x terms, but the coefficient is different. And then the same thing applies if we think about variables with exponents. So if we have an x squared term, then we'd be adding or subtracting any of the other x squared terms. So again, the only thing allowed to be different is the actual number in the front, the coefficient. So let's go ahead and take a look at our first example. So you can, if you'd like, go ahead and rewrite this as it states to drop the parentheses, or you can go straight to the addition step. That's up to you. I'll show you one where we get rid of the parentheses here first. And then once you do that, what we want to do is identify any of the like terms. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my highlighter. And first I see that my first term is an x squared term, so I want to search for any other x squareds. And in this case, I see the negative 6x squared. And if I keep scanning, I don't see any more. So now we'll switch over and highlight anything that is an x term, since our first one here is a 2x. And then we also have a 3x term. So those would be like terms. And then all I have to do is add those two together by just adding the coefficients. So for our x squared term, we've got 4 and negative 6, so that's negative 2. The x squared itself does not change ever when we're adding and subtracting. We're just changing the coefficients. And then if we look at our x term, we'll add the 2 and the 3 to get plus 5x. Okay? On our next example, I'm not going to get rid of the parentheses to show you that option. So if I look, I've got a 5x squared, but if I search through the rest of the problem, I don't see any other x squared. So we'll switch colors. The next term is a negative x, so I'm looking for other x terms, and here's a plus 3x. And then the last term here is a positive 7. Obviously, being the last term, it doesn't have anything left, so it will just be part of our final answer. So in this case, the only thing I can do is actually combine or add together the negative x and the 3x, so that gets me 2x, because negative 1 plus 3. And then preferably your answer will be written the way that these are in standard form. If you write them out of standard form, that's fine. Just be cautious of any directions that tell you to put it in standard. And then there's a U try here if you want to go ahead and give that one a try. Now for subtraction, the directions look very similar. It says to subtract polynomials, but then this is the new part. We want to distribute the negative and then combine like terms. So basically, we want to change a subtraction problem to an addition problem. So in this case, the parentheses are going to matter, and anywhere we have a subtraction sign, the next set directly after it of parentheses will change all of the signs within it. So basically, we're going to add the opposite. So in our first example, we'll change the subtraction to an addition, and then we'll make each of these its opposite sign in that next set. And then here again, you can rewrite without the parentheses, or you can go to your identification of like terms step. So I'm going to go straight to that and highlight the 5x cubed and the negative 2x cubed. And then we've got a positive 3x squared and a positive 6x squared. And notice that I'm highlighting the sign as well as the term itself, so I can identify when I add or subtract what that new coefficient is going to be. So when I combine here, I'll have 5 minus 2, so that's 3x cubed. And then I've got 3 plus 6, so positive 9x squared. And again, doesn't matter when you're adding and subtracting, the exponent and the variables do not change. And then we'll go ahead and try one more. So our second example, again, subtraction, change all the signs after the subtraction sign. And then we want to begin by highlighting our like terms. So we start with a constant 4, and if we look in our second set, we've got a negative 1. Then we've got a negative x squared, and down here we've got a positive 8x squared. And lastly, we've got a positive 2x and a negative 3x. So combining all those together, I'll write this one out of standard form just to show you that that is acceptable. So 4 minus 1 will give us 3. Negative x squared and positive 8x squared will give us plus 7x squared. And positive 2x and negative 3x gives us minus x. So go ahead, you can try the you try problem here at the bottom, and then we'll do a little bit of practice with this. So to practice adding and subtracting polynomials, you're going to play tic-tac-toe on the back with a partner, and just to explain how this is going to work, and then you can get to it. So obviously you got to pick a partner, and it's regular tic-tac-toe, so somebody picks X, somebody picks O's, but the way to do this is a little bit different. So as you can see on the actual board, there's plus signs and minus signs. And basically what that's telling you is what operation you're going to do with the two polynomials creating that square. So if we take a look, if you were to pick this first square, that's a plus. So we're going to take this polynomial plus that polynomial. Okay. But let's say you were to take the square right below it. Then what you would do instead, if I take this square, is the order matters here. So now you're going to take that top expression minus, so you need to put parentheses around it, the second one. And then obviously the middle square is the one that everybody wants. So for that one, you can see here that there's a plus and a minus. So that means you have to complete both operations and get them both correct in order to earn that spot. Both people will try the problem for each square, because if you get it incorrect and it's your turn, then the other person can steal it, and then they would get a second turn right after that. So give that a try, and then when you are finished, you can work on the add and subtract polynomials homework and potentially get that done in class. All right, good luck.